and welcome back to Madness in the Method, the podcast where we talk about Nicolas Cage and all the movies, all the wonderful movies that he has made during his illustrious career and keeps making, so that we will never ever be finished with this podcast. But I guess I don't know if that's the point or not, but either way, that's what we're doing here. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my friend and trusted co-host Christopher.
Hello everyone.
Hello. And in today's episode we are talking about the 2000s movie. It's so weird to say that as a year. The 2000 movie. It's not the 2000 movie. It's a movie that Nicolas Cage made in the year 2000 called The Family Man. Yeah. Written by David Diamond and David Weisman and directed by Brett Ratner. It's a Christmas movie, sort of. No, it is a Christmas movie about a fast-lane investment broker offered the opportunity to see how the other half lives. He wakes up to find out that his sports car and girlfriend have become a minivan and wife. It's one of those movies, where you trade places with someone else, sort of.
So, have you seen this movie before?
No, I'd never seen it before.
What did you have? What did you before? What did you have for expectations?
Well, we discussed it. We've discussed it briefly before, and I for some reason thought this was going to be somewhat similar to The Weatherman. I think that's mainly because of the name, and that he's wearing a what's it called overcoat on the poster, and then, and has to do with family. I think that's why. Mm-hmm. But I didn't look it up or anything, so I had no idea. Other than it was going to be one of those magical switcheroo movies.
But did you think it was going to be good?
Yes.
Right.
I was cautiously optimistic at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week when we recorded the last episode, you mentioned that it is a Christmas movie, sort of, and I was like, ooh, I do like Christmas. So I was ready. I was prepared to be pleasantly surprised.
So first off, we talked about it a few times before, but you have a fascination with Christmas movies.
Yes,
you really like them.
Yes.
Did this give you that Christmas movie feeling?
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh yes, it did. Jesus fucking Christ, it did.
All right. And what? Without giving away the score, what did you think of the movie? Did you like it?
Oh yeah, I really, really, really liked it.
Oh, okay.
I fucking loved this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I've seen this movie before a few times. Because I have it on DVD. I got it in some kind of, I think when I bought maybe PlayStation 2 or something. I bought a console and I got a movie with it, a game and a movie. I think it was some kind of package deal. And I got this one, which is, on hindsight, very weird choice. I guess they had just too many of them and needed to get rid of them.
But was it a? Did you buy it used, or was it from a store?
Was it from a store?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a weird choice.
Yeah, it was just some kind of pack, or maybe there was some kind. Because I remember it was a game. I bought it, and there was this movie comes with it. It wasn't anything they They didn't have any ads or anything for it. It was just you got this too. I was like, oh, okay, fine, I guess.
I've had that happen to me too, but they were giving away like a weirdo horror movie that they couldn't sell. This is a random movie, just a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, so I got it. I think it was around 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
So I saw it and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty. I liked it, so I rewatched it a few times. But now it's been a while. 'Cause as you know, at least, I packed away my DVD collection in boxes a few years back, and I haven't really revisited anything in those boxes. And this is not really a movie you search out for. Well, I don't. At least I don't like look at Netflix. Oh, this movie, The Family Man. I remember this.
No,
it's more you see it in your shelf and see. Oh, that movie. That was a while ago.
Yeah, unless you like personally really love it. It's it's not something you pick out every Christmas even.
No,
because it's just the movie.
Yeah, so it's been a while, but I have fond memories of it. And when I rewatched it, I'd say maybe it's a little worse than I remember, but that's still I still like it a lot.
Rewatching it this time.
Yeah, rewatching it this time.
Yeah.
I think it's more of just rose-colored lenses. Just watching back to it because it's been so I like it.
yeah.
But yeah, so a little about the movie, a little more in depth. It's about this character called Jack. Jack something. I don't know.
Campbell.
Campbell, right? Jack Campbell, who is this? He in the beginning of the movie, he's going away to London for business school for a year, and he's saying goodbye to his girlfriend.
Yeah, it starts in 1987, and they've been together for like a year or something. They're a serious couple, but they're not married or anything, and they're both in school still.
Yeah, and she begs him to stay because she got a feeling that if he goes,
so last time they'll ever meet.
Yeah, it's the end of the relationship, sort of. And he says, it's fine, and then he goes, and then they never meet again.
Fast forwards 13 years.
Yeah, and now he's this big-time hotshot, as you said, like, business person.
Yeah, he's a business person, serious man with a briefcase, something banks, something companies, something stocks. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't
One
really
of those.
go. It's just, and I gotta say, I like that they are very upfront with this sort of facade of business person, because everyone in the company is like, oh, Jack Campbell, you're here late as usual. You, what is his boss says, like the shining star of capitalism, Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
So they're very like sort of self-deprecating with it, which is pretty fun.
And it's very cliche, like, oh, we're gonna work late on Christmas. Oh, of course we shall. Christmas? Fuck anything but money. Yes. What small country can we destroy today? Basically. Yeah,
sort of. What they do is with this. Well, the filmmaker is doing it with this sort of glint in their eye.
Sure. But I almost got this. Because it's always kind of funny when there's a multi-million-dollar Hollywood movie is like, money isn't important, it's love and family that's important. I got a very cynical vibe at first. I was like, come on, bro, you made this movie for like 80 million. Money means something to you, okay? But that washed away pretty quickly, I gotta say.
Yeah. And then he, on his way home on Christmas Day, he stops by at a convenience store to buy eggnog. Yeah. And he sort of, in a roundabout way, prevents a robbery or something. A misunderstanding with a gun.
Yeah. He worked not. It's Christmas. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. Right.
And he steps out of the office. It's very late. It's like 7:30. Oh, he's still at work. Oh, he steps out of the office and it starts snowing. Oh, in New York. Oh, almost like it's some kind of magic. Oh, yeah. And he steps into that convenience store to buy eggnog, which they like half-heartedly plant earlier in the movie. When his I don't know if that's his girlfriend, whatever, his lady friend, they mention like, oh, it's Christmas, we can't, whatever, I have to go meet my family. And he's like, I'll pour eggnog over you. Something. I guess that's why he's buying it. Otherwise, I don't know why, because he doesn't seem interested in Christmas. Well, he does stop to buy eggnog for some reason.
Because we get this feeling throughout the introduction of the character that it's like a record draft. Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Sure. No, yeah, absolutely.
Because he goes around and he's being nice.
He's not Patrick Bateman, you know.
No, exactly. Because he gives stock market tips to his like doorman. He knows everybody's name, and he's really nice. And you got this feeling that he's not a bad guy really, and it's not that that he hates Christmas. It's just he doesn't really have a family or anywhere to go, so he doesn't really get it. Get it?
Exactly, because it's a very family-oriented holiday.
Yeah. So I'm interpreting that eggnog situation of him like, oh, this is
a little
nice.
Christmas spirit.
Yeah, just a little smidge of Christmas spirit. Oh, it's snowing outside. I'm gonna walk home. I'm gonna drink some eggnog on the way. It's nice. Then business as usual tomorrow. But just for tonight, I'm just gonna have a little Christmas for myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So he stops this thing, and so there's this guy who has a lottery ticket, and the store owner doesn't want to take it, and then a dispute starts, and a gun appears, and then he just steps in and says, "You know what? I'll buy this ticket for you. It's worth $135. I'll buy it for you for $200, and I'll make $35, and nobody has to get hurt, and we can just have a Christmas."
Yeah.
And this guy agrees, and they have a small discussion of what do you want in life, Jack? And Jack says, I don't need nothing. I have everything I want.
By the way, this random guy played by Don Cheadle, who I guess wasn't super well known at the time, but it has since become.
Yeah.
So it's also kind of funny that that's one. It's a sort of like a Hollywood stereotype. Whenever there's like an angel character in movies, they're like 99% of the time they're black. I don't know why, but they are. And they have that thing here as well. I don't know why, but it's just something I picked up on. Like,
I think it is sort of virtue signaling in a way.
Sort of, yeah.
Because if you look back in like the older movies, like as we mentioned before, What I Want for Life, there the angel is white, and movies from that era, they're always white. So I think it's sort of this. We're gonna do something different, but now everyone does it, so now that's this new standard, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. The most classic example of that is Bruce Almighty, where Morgan Freeman plays God.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a little thing I noticed. Whatever. He's barely in the movie anyway, so.
Yeah, he's in like 3 scenes.
Yeah.
And then Don Cheadle's character says, well, you done it now, Jack. Remember, this is your fault.
Yeah, because he says everybody wants something, and Don Cheadle asks him, "What do you want?" And he's like, "I don't know. I pretty much have everything I want." Just contradicting himself instantly.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, you really stepped in it now, Jack."
And then he goes home and goes to bed and wakes up the next day, and now he lives the life where he would have been if he didn't go on that plane 30 years before.
So he lives in the suburbs with 2 children and a wife.
Oh.
And it's Taya Leone, the girl from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Which we didn't mention, but it's Taya Leone.
Yeah. And that's sort of the movie, this sort of fish out of water story of this hotshot business guy trying to live a quote unquote normal life with children and wife, and at the start, of course, he hates it, and he just wants to get back to his life with Ferraris and good wines and good tastes. And then, of course, because it is a Christmas movie, he finds that that's not what's important in life. It's family.
Oh, yeah. He learns what's important.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And that's sort of the movie. There's a lot more to it, but that's generally the broad strokes of it.
Yes, it's a trope you recognize from other movies. I'm having a hard time think of one though now, like where your life is magically switched. I'm thinking of like there's this movie called like The Switch Up or something with Jason Bateman and Josh Hamill or something. I'm not sure.
I haven't seen that one, but the first movie I was thinking of, that's not magic like this is. It's Trading Places.
Yeah, but there's not a magical element. That one.
Just the magical thing. I don't think that's a lot, but just this thing of going from rich to poor and finding that poor. Titanic does sort of the same thing. Also, it's that trope of being rich then going to poor and understanding that it's or poorer. I guess they're not poor in this movie. Poorer. No. It's just defining what's important in life. That money isn't everything. I mean, that's sort of trope. But magically
learning
getting a
that
new
love
life
is the thing.
Yeah, but just magically getting a new life. I don't think that is in this context is very cliche. I don't think.
No, here it is. The change up I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, but there is this thing. I don't remember. There's a name for it, but these tropes and cliches that just feel like you've seen it a million times the first time you see it because it's so universal in a way.
Yeah, exactly. It's vague. You can kind of apply it to other movies that aren't exactly the same, but it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like in a way, it's basically the same like story, but with a different magic thing, as in Liar Liar.
Yeah.
Like, he because he's always about work, and work is so important, and I don't care about relationships, and my son, well, I like him, but I gotta work, and then one day he can't lie, and he turns out he actually loves his son. It's the same same kind of thing, sort of, and like Trading Places, even though there's a physical switch there instead. Or movies like, I had one. Oh, whatever.
We've seen this thing in a lot of places before, but just not this specific thing.
Yeah, exactly. But by the way, the change up that I'm looking at, though, that's almost literally this movie, just that he switches places with another person that he meets. But it's the same thing. They basically switch bodies. Their consciousness switches bodies. So one is a family man, and the other one is a bachelor. You know.
All right. Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
No, I don't think I have seen it, but I knew of it. Because I don't remember anything about it. Maybe it's just bad, so I don't remember anything. I don't know. Anyway, this, however, was very, very good.
Yeah, I think one of the best thing of this movie is that it's very sort of real in a way. It really feels like all these small confrontations and like arguments they have, all of them are very petty and they seem very real in a way. Even because Leone's character Kate, like the first half of the movie, she's very just angry at him all the time and sort of very, very, a lot of snide remarks, a lot of sarcasm, and I get, but then you feel like that's her sort of, that's marriage, that's how it is, and then there are these tender moments in between that sort of makes everything worth it, and it feels, it's not a if you put it like other comedies about married life, put it like that, it's usually very much more comically or over the top.
Yeah, and also very like big gestures. It's not very realistic. It's not grounded.
Grounded. That's the word I was looking for.
If you think of like romantic comedies, it's always like this, like the big thing which you have in this. When it's her birthday and he takes her out to dinner and he rents a hotel room and everything, like these big gestures and everything. But in the end, it's the small things that actually makes him reconsider what life he really wanted. And I also like that he is very. I mean, they're doing the whole, oh my god, I'm not me, I'm someone else, and he tries to figure out where he is and who he is and what's going on. But it's not like he's like trying to hide it and okay, I'm just gonna stay calm and maybe it'll all change back. No, he just walks around like, this, I'm not supposed to be here, and tells everyone that, and like, I'm confused, please help me. when she starts yelling at him because he wakes up at 7:30, the first thing he does when he realizes that he's not who he's supposed to be, he just drives away and he's gone for 6 hours on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, his wife Leone has been, calling hospitals all day, and they've been opening presents, and he missed Christmas breakfast and everything. And she's like super angry with him. First, she hugs him because she was super worried, and then she's super angry. And he's like, just please stop yelling for a second, because I don't know what's going on. Very realistic, but also funny,
Yeah. And it's this, just this thing that he goes around for, I think it's like half the movie, that he just goes around and saying, well, this is just temporary. Fuck it. I'm just gonna do whatever I want. When he figures out that he can't just go back, when he's like, yeah, I'm gonna cheat on my apparently wife because I don't care. Fuck this.
Yeah, he's not taking it seriously. He's kind of taking it seriously, and then when he gets that proposition, he's like, okay, let's make the best out of the situation.
Because in his mind,
the first wake up call.
Yeah, because in his mind, he's not married.
No, it's this, because he was told there's going to be like a glimpse into another world. So this is not real. It's not like he's like had a concussion or anything. Like, he knows it's a magic little test or something.
Yeah, and also this thing in the beginning. Well, the beginning when switch over, when they are supposed to have sex, or they're when she's like, the kids are asleep, we have like 30 minutes, let's go. And then he pretends to be asleep, because and that's again, like, he's a pretty good guy, because he's like, yeah, this isn't okay.
Yeah, for him it's a little awkward. He hasn't seen her in 13 years. He's like, oh, maybe.
And also he's not the person she thinks he is.
Yeah. So it's a little weird. Yeah, but that's also the first time where he, like, I don't know if it's accidentally or whatever, like, just realizes, like, oh my god, it's the woman I loved 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's so honest, like, you're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is another thing I like about the movie. It's very, very honest with all of that stuff. Like, the whole romance part, like them falling back into love, or whatever you want to call it, since it's not really that, but it sort of is that, from his perspective at least. It's very, very grounded and very honest, and felt, for a movie like this, very realistic.
Yeah. The only thing I really dislike is a hard term for it, but I feel should have needed a little more work.
Yeah,
that is the ending of the movie.
A little maybe. It's a little rushed, but I mean, it's really the only way you could have ended it and still have it be a happy ending, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I don't like the way it goes, because at the end of the movie he goes back to his normal life, and no time has passed.
Yeah,
and he's sort of he finds Kate again in the real world, so to speak, where she got married, never had kids, and she is also like a hotshot.
Yeah, they sort of have the same life.
Lawyer, I think.
Yeah, she's a lawyer. Yeah.
And he sort of, now when he has, in this alternate timeline, sort of fallen back in love with her, he's like, I need her in my life. I need to get back with her. Even though it's been 13 years and we haven't met each other, and she's going away to move, and that's circular storytelling back to the same thing as the beginning of the movie, that she's going and he's begging her to stay.
Yeah.
But the way he begs her to stay is the most fucking crazy person thing ever.
Because he tells her about the life they had in his dream, or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, he doesn't tell her. He screams it in an airport over like 4 lines of people. He screams about, well,
we had 2
it's
kids.
Different from her point of view, a dream that he had about them being together.
A house in New Jersey. I work for a tire company.
And it's just, really? Is this how you're gonna do this?
And her reaction is, "Oh, I'm kind of intrigued."
Yeah, it's just that part is just so weird. Again, I like the circular storytelling, but they should have just gone with something else. Just a more. It's better with a heartfelt speech, not just a monologue of his dream.
Yeah. It's a little it's a little rushed sort of, but it kind of works as well. It's awkward the way he's yelling it, but it kind of works because, like you said, in the beginning, she's the one begging him to stay. Like, we should just take a chance and stay here and be together, and we could have a life together, because I don't think we're gonna have that if you leave. And he's like, it'll be fine, and then he leaves.
Yeah,
so it's the same situation, but he learns. He learns his lesson in this dream. It's fuck. I had a better way of saying it, because it's not so on the nose that there's this specific moment when he's in this other version of his life. It's a culmination of all the little things that when he knows he's about to leave that other version of his life, because he meets Don Cheadle again. It's like, so this was just a glimpse. You're going back. That's kind of when he realizes it's not someone doing this grand gesture. It's not Téa Leoni telling him in this other version, like, oh, this is why. It's the small things along the way that makes him realize that shit, I'm going to go back to my old life, even though I don't really want to. So when he comes back to his real life, he has a chance to impart what he learned during this dream thing onto Téa Leoni in the real world, the same way she tried to do 13 years ago, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes...
Because she had those... He asks, like, do you ever think I would have been if we stayed together? And she's like, yeah, I did, and I was really sad for a while, but I moved on, just like he did. So, it's almost... And the fact that she calls him, or has called for him, in the beginning of the movie, that's why he remembers her name. Like, oh, I haven't heard her name in 13 years, because his assistant, says, like, oh, whoever, Kate Reynolds tried to get a hold of you. I have her number. He's like, oh, Kate Reynolds. I almost married that woman. Oh, well. So it's almost like and it turns out she only wanted to give him some stuff because she was moving. But it's almost like she had a similar, they're hinting, not hinting at, but like she had a similar experience because, at the same time. Like,
I think that's a stretch. You're grasping at straws.
I'm not saying it happened. Because then we're in fan theory land.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's that little touch of movie magic. Like, that's why she called. Because that's kind of what sets this whole thing off, I would say, in a way.
Well, yeah, it does. But all I'm saying is, it makes sense for us as an audience, but it doesn't make sense in universe why he would do that.
Of course not.
It would make more sense if he just talked to her about, like, oh, this is now we're at the same part as we was 13 years ago, and I didn't give you a chance. Could you please give me a chance now, because I have understood what's sort of something more of in that vein. And
sure.
Not this fucking clumsy weird monologue. So that's what I'm saying. And also I think it's usually something I like, but I don't like in this movie, that it's sort of a bittersweet ending. They found each other and they have a coffee and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
But the kids will never be there and that life will never exist, and it's...
Yeah, that's a little like, shit.
Yeah, it's sort of, it doesn't feel in the vein of the movie to just end it there.
I think that's, for me, that's part of what makes it less, schmaltzy romantic comedy, that it's more grounded in its magic, so to speak. Like, he can never get back that life he had for a few weeks with those kids in that house. But he has Téa Leoni, so at least they can, they can be together and they can start their own family. Like, because he has seen what it could be like, and it's actually kind of nice, you know. Because love is what's more important, you know. It's not money and material possession. It's love, which is what she literally says that in the dream life.
Yeah.
But without it feeling like stupid or on the nose, though.
But I think that's my biggest issue with the movie is sort of everything that happens from he getting back to the credits. It feels off. It doesn't feel as put together as the rest of the movie. Because the rest of the movie is really good, and it works through and through. And I think all the characters are really good characters, even the ones that aren't in the movie that long. Is really believable. I think what is he called? The best friend.
Arnie, Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven. Yeah. He's great in his role, even though it's like only 2 or 3 scenes.
He's in just a few scenes, yes, with his other friends and the wife of his friend, his other friend who wants to have an affair with him. Yes, it all feels. They all have, you know, we've talked about this in the previous episode now. There is a reciprocation of energy, because they're on the same wavelength with Nicolas Cage, so it all feels very natural, even when he's kind of flipping out a little bit.
Yeah, because
it feels very, very natural. The chemistry between all the characters is great.
Yeah, because that I gotta say, because this is the Nicolas Cage podcast. Nicolas Cage is great in this movie, and he goes all out in both sides of the spectrum, in all of the spectrum. He's everywhere. Without
it being, you know, rage cagey. He's very it's a top-notch performance from him.
Yeah. No, I mean, he does go full rage cage at moments, but the other characters are, as you said, the same wavelength, so it doesn't look weird. They are there to meet his weird rage cage.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the scene. I think one of the best scenes in the movie is when he's looking at a suit to get a suit.
Oh yeah.
And cause they're going around in this shopping mall, and he go. Why don't we go to every store in the whole shopping mall? Wouldn't that be fun?
In this godforsaken shopping mall. And he's just smiling.
Yeah. And that's very Rage Cagey, just that difference. Yeah. And then he goes and tries on a suit while the other do, and he just, I'm gonna buy this suit because it feels like me again.
Yeah.
And then he goes in this very childish rant of, but you got shoes.
It's like,
why do I get anything? I go up every morning and everything's bad.
Yeah, it's this thing. Oh, what do I get out of this life? I have to walk the dog, take out the trash. I have to work with selling tires, and at the end, it all just starts over. And you can see in Tay Leone's eyes, like, oh, that's everything. Sure, right, yeah.
Because
you know he misses that one crucial point that, you know, he's doing all of that with the woman he loves. That's the point he's missing at that point.
Yeah, and instead of sort of, which has happened in other movies where, because she does play like stone-faced in that moment, but you also feel that she's
very disappointed.
She has the energy inside. She has energy that an explosion to yell back at him, but she like holds it back, and you can see that in the performance.
Yeah.
And that's why it works. If she didn't have that, as we've seen in other movies, where they just play it like, what is it called, like realism, realistically, then it wouldn't work. Then it falls flat. That monologue.
Exactly.
And I think that's through in the entire movie that everyone it just works. Just everything fits.
Yeah.
And also all the characters, even most characters really are only in a few scenes of the movie.
Yes.
But every character sort of grounds the story in making the story real.
Yeah, like fleshing out the world building, so to speak.
Yeah, because we see the Kate's father, Big Ed.
Yeah.
He's there at Christmas, but then he leaves, so we don't see him anymore at Christmas time. And then he works for Big Ed, so we see him in a boss capacity, but he's not a constant player in the story. But
yeah, he's not like, oh, he's there for dinner and more hijinks, none of that. He's just there. He fills his purpose.
Yeah, and every character just makes sense in the story that they don't have this best friend who's there all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just he meets his best friends at bowling night, as you sort of do, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's even, which is maybe taking it a little. It's not a problem, but it almost felt like they're taking that too far. Because at one point, even the children kind of disappear from the movie. Because we've already had the scenes where he's changing diapers and dropping them off at school, and we don't need that again because we've seen that in the movie already. So they kind of disappear. I mean, they're there, but, we don't get those scenes where he's struggling with the children, because they've figured that part out already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. It does...
Yeah, it focuses on what's important for the story.
And that's what a lesser movie would focus on. Oh, the crazy hijinks of taking care of children.
Yeah.
That's not what the story... That's not the story they want to tell.
Exactly. Like, they do that once, because it's funny, and then that's done.
Yeah.
Then they focus on the actual story. Yeah.
Huh.
It's wonderful. The restraint these people had writing this movie. Like, they could have done a crazy comedy, but it isn't. It's very grounded, very succinct. And even though it's like 2 hours long, which is usually romantic comedies or whatever you would call this, that's a little too long for that. It works somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't feel long at all.
No, not at all. I could have watched even more. It's just I don't have any real complaints. I mean, it's not like the only thing you can say, like, it's not a revolutionary movie, so it's not going to become like a timeless classic. But for what it is, it's fucking great.
But it's not going to go into your usual roster of Christmas movies?
Oh, yeah, it will, definitely.
Oh, it
definitely.
will, okay.
I'm going to keep watching this one, definitely. It's good enough for that, It's not quite, legend status, but it's just below that for me.
Well, I did read that this movie has a lot of references to It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know if you got any when you were watching it.
Not anything specifically other than, he sees a different version of his life, which is a big part of that movie.
There's one very blatant, which,
I guess the bell ringing, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's bell ringing, and also it's snowing when things happen.
Right, when things happen. Oh, okay, sure.
And then there's one where Big Ed, he says that he played poker with a big trucker guy.
Yeah.
And that guy is called Mr. Potter.
Oh, sure, yeah, okay,
yeah. There's a lot of things like that.
That's very subtle, though.
Yeah,
because Mr. Potter is not a trucker in.
No, but it's just
it's the name.
Businessman.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So yeah, they that is sort of what they were going for, and it's obvious when you know about it.
Yeah.
That's, as I said last week. I don't know if it was on air or after we stopped recording, but this movie, I said this movie was somewhere between. Oh, what was this? What did I say? I think I said Trading Places and It's a Wonderful Life. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Those were the ones you mentioned.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a good movie. I don't know. I don't have that much more to say, really.
No, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I did a little bit of research, and there's not. It's just a regular movie, so there's not a lot of like behind the scenes stuff or any. I found one, not even review, but kind of like video essay about it, by some smaller channel, Film Flux, I think it was called. Mm-hmm. It was good, but it's not quite on the level of like The Boy in Blue that it's forgotten. People remember it.
No.
But it's not like one of those big popular movies.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, if you have it in your shelf, you will pull it out, but you won't look for it.
No, yeah, exactly.
It's a movie. It's I wouldn't say forgettable, but
No.
it's I don't know. It's you don't. Well, at least me, I don't get the feeling of. I don't feel a need to rewatch it.
I
Put it like that.
Yeah, sure, and I can. In a way, I can see that, like why people might like. Well, I watched this once and it's fine. But I got like for me, this is it's gonna go into my Christmas movie rotation, and I'm gonna remember it fondly. And I can also see, because I've read some comments by people on YouTube videos and on IMDb, that for a lot of people it is sort of like a Christmas classic. It's just not officially an official Christmas classic, sort of like It's a Wonderful Life is. But for a lot of people, it is a personal favorite and classic, sort of, so to speak. It's kind of in between. It's kind of fallen down in between the cracks. And kind of been forgotten, like a lot of his movies have been.
One thing that I was thinking of mentioning, I remember now. I do like the sort of off-screen world building with Don Cheadle's character. Yeah. There's a lot of interesting things with him. The few times he's in the movie, because he's sort of kind of an angel character. I guess they never would say that, but it's sort of obvious. But it's interesting because when he's in the convenience store at the beginning, when Nick Cage is
buying eggnog.
When they leave. The last thing he says, I think it's the last thing he says to the cashier is, "You had your chance too, and you blew it." That he was there for the cashier originally.
Yeah, to have like a glimpse. Yeah.
Yeah, and also when the last time when he meets Nicolas Cage's character Jack at the end of the movie.
Yeah, he's working in a convenience store.
Yeah, and then there's a girl there who he gets too much change. And then when she leaves, he says to Jack, wait, we'll see what you're gonna do. And then she just leaves, and he's like, almost. And so there's like, he just goes around testing people, sort of. Like, I think I think it's an interesting thing, because we don't stay on it. It's just small things.
It's there, yeah. And when you notice it, then it kind of, it kind of makes Jack out to be like at his core a good guy, because he actually did the good deed that gave him the chance to get this glimpse from Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
which the other people didn't. So even if he's like, ooh, he's the typical Wall Street douchebag, but he's got the thing though. That's why he gets this chance. Yeah, it's not just like, we're gonna teach you what it's really all about. Like,
yeah, it's not the you've been bad. It's not the Scrooge thing.
No, exactly.
It's the reverse.
Yeah.
And I think that again goes into what I said about all the characters in the movie. They feel like they have their own agency and their own part to play.
Yeah.
But we don't see that because it's not important. We see a glimpse of every character's struggles and life without lingering too much. Because that's also a thing that's easy for movies to do, these kind of movies where they have like, we built this whole thing with this character, and we just need to we need to stay in. You as an audience need to know the hard work we put into this character, even though it actually doesn't make a difference to the story.
Yeah,
and that again makes it work.
Yeah, hinting at a larger world, like in the beginning when he's confused and he shows up at his friend's house, at Jeremy Piven's house. And they talk very, very briefly about last year when he almost got into an affair on the side with his like daughter's or son's piano teacher or something.
All right.
But then you told me like, you don't want to give all that up for whatever his wife's name is, because she's barely in the movie.
Yeah.
And then that comes back later when he's almost having an affair with this other wife lady. And Jeremy Piven like talks about like it comes back and it's in an organic way. it's very well written. Like,
it's a very
for
well
what it
movie.
is. Yeah,
I would say maybe the direction isn't the best. It's not a fun looking movie. It's kind of a basic looking movie.
Yeah, and that's classic Brett Ratner. He's a director for hire. Like he does the job, and I think this is one of his better movies. I gotta say. But it's not like this is not like a passion project for him.
No,
but he's very like good at what he does.
Yeah, and I don't think the movie needs to be a visual masterpiece.
No,
really.
No.
Because that's not what it is. No, like Christmas movies and romantic comedies are very rarely good looking movies. Because
it's more about it's about the story and you know how the Christmas spirit feeling, whatever.
Whatever.
You know. Perfect example of that is Home Alone. As amazing as that movie is, a lot of the shots are very flat.
Oh yeah. So have you read any reviews about this movie from the time?
Yeah, no, I didn't read them, but I've been looking at them during our recording here, and it got it pretty bad. I mean, not a bad. Well, it got a 42 on Metacritic.
Well, that's very low.
Yeah, I guess it's like dragged down by a couple of really bad reviews because it got some pretty favorable reviews. It doesn't have a ton of reviews. It got 28 reviews from the time, and 8 positive, a lot of 15 mixed, and then 5 negative. And the negatives are like really that's what's dragging it down because the worst it got was a 0.
A 0?
That might be a later review though. Because it's probably from the time because it's from film.com, which doesn't exist anymore. But they just wrote, you can't even read the full review anymore. You can just read the blurb and it's, what were they thinking? Is the only thing that it says. It's like,
okay.
They were thinking they were making a Christmas movie. What's the problem?
Yeah.
But it got like 38, 30, 20, a couple of 20 reviews. I'm like, what? This is so weird. Saying like, nothing more or less than a cheap, dirty grab at our Christmas spirit. That's like the opposite of what it is. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like a cheap cash grab at Christmas spirit. It's the actual like exercise in Christmas spirit, a good exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the user reviews are very mixed. There's a lot of 5s and 6s.
Yeah.
But apparently, well, just looking through them, most of them is because it's labeled as a comedy and there are not a lot of jokes in it.
No. So it's not like
so it looks like a lot of people
comedy,
went into this movie thinking would be a big laugh out loud comedy, and then they were disappointed it wasn't. The people who actually that doesn't talk about that it isn't funny enough, or it's too slow. Then we got like 9s and 10s.
Yeah, exactly. There might be. I haven't even watched the trailer, but maybe they were trying to sell it as a comedy, and it's not. It's more a drama comedy. Like it's funny, but it's not. There's not jokes. You know.
Yeah, I would say the comedy, because we talked about this when we did the action trilogy of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
This movie is comedy in the same way as an action movie is comedy.
Exactly. It has jokes. It has funny moments, but it's not haha comedy.
No, it's more of we have jokes to just levy the drama.
Yeah, exactly.
To make us get a pause in the realistic, not that fun married life.
Yeah, it's not a genre movie. It's not a comedy or an action movie. It's it's a movie.
Yeah.
With a little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama. No action though, but that's fine.
Yeah,
they do drive a car very, very fast once. I guess that's a little action.
But yeah, I think I don't have anything else. There wasn't, as you said, no real fun trivia of the movie more than picking out some pointers to Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, John Travolta was at one point set to star in the movie.
Yeah, well, let's talk more about Nicolas Cage's performance then, because once again, this is the kind of movie where maybe someone else could have done it, sure, but having seen it with Nicolas Cage in it, I can't imagine this with anyone else. He makes it very much his own performance.
I the only person I could see in this role, it would have been worse, definitely. But the only one I can see is actually well, at this point, 2000, I think, John Cusack. I could see him in this movie. It would have been a far different movie. And I wouldn't say as good, but he could have done it because he has this this mellow part and sometimes this very explosive energy that is needed in this role to have both of those being very mellow and very explosive at times. So it could work, but it
could have worked, but like you said, it would have been much worse. It is definitely a Nicolas Cage movie, which Nicolas Cage makes this movie work. Yeah, like he goes all in for the role, which is like something we've talked about a lot in this. Like that also like it elevates the movie when he doesn't just sleepwalk his way through it. It's not just a paycheck, you know. He really goes in for it and takes it serious.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little silly, maybe, you know.
And I gotta say, it's one of the best chemistries between him and Tia Leon.
Yes, she's great, and that's kind of funny because I didn't think of that while watching it, but then when I looked up the cast and I clicked on Tia Leon, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, she was in Spanglish, another like complete surprise when it came to like, you know, movies about family life and romance and such. She had amazing chemistry in that movie with Adam Sandler. And him, not in the same way as Nicolas Cage, but, you know, him, like, actually acting in that movie and not just hamming it up or doing it for a paycheck like he usually does. So maybe there's something to Tia Leone's energy and her co-stars reciprocating that as well.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very similar, in, you know, the chemistry between the characters in this movie and in Spanglish. I think. Yeah. I just thought of it now. I was like,
I'm just looking at other movies I've seen with her. She's really good at chemistry.
Yeah. I haven't seen her in that many other movies. The only thing I can think of right now is like Jurassic Park 3. And that is, I know. She doesn't really have great chemistry with the dinosaurs in that, I suppose.
I was thinking, because I was Fun with Dick and Jane.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. It's not a good movie. It's a movie. But good chemistry again. They really sell it. And I don't remember her in Deep Impact, but she was in that. I have seen that, but I don't remember her.
Oh, it's been so long. Yeah, I can barely remember anyone in that movie. Elijah Wood is in that movie.
Yep.
That's about it.
She hasn't done that much really.
Huh?
She's like done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 movies since 2000.
Huh.
That's 13 movies in 22 years.
But is she still acting, or is she maybe?
Yeah, there's one movie that is announced. I counted that one as
sure.
one of 13. It's announced, so she's done a TV show for like 5 years.
A TV show for 5 years. Yeah, so, I haven't watched it, but I know of it. Yeah.
But yeah, so great chemistry.
Yeah, great chemistry.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I don't really have much else to say. Just one last thing about, I guess then about like random. Just going back to like how this is different from other like romantic comedies or whatever you call it. Like it's very, instead of like I mentioned those, instead of all these like big grand gestures, and even though it has him running to the airport in the end, which is a big, you know, cliche in movies like this, running to the wedding or running to the airport, like, stop, you can't go, I love you. it has that, but it also has, you know, it's a very like contemplative movie. Like you have several scenes where Nicolas Cage is just sitting down and like reflecting over the situation he's in and realizing like what he's gaining from this. Like the scene where he sits down and he watches the tape of it's Tay Leone's birthday and he's singing to her. It's not just like, oh my god, it's like a really nice life. Because there's a big thing also, like calling back to an earlier thing in the movie where he's singing, but he sings La Donna Mobile in the beginning of the movie.
All right, yeah.
And he's in the elevator and he stops singing when someone else gets into the elevator, and they literally make a point of it. Like she says, like, "We don't have to stop singing on the count of me." He's like, "No, please, it's just because I'm shy." But then in that scene, so it's not just them having fun and laughing, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is such a nice life." No. In that scene, he sings to her in the middle of this big party, and he's not, like, shy, or he's not, like, ashamed or anything. And it just shows that, you know, his boundaries or whatever are, like, lowered when he's around her, because he really, really loves her. It's little details like that that's like, pointed out throughout the movie. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that detail.
Yeah, so. And the fact that in the scene, instead of him like, oh, whoa, or like starting to like cry and like, oh my god, he's just sitting there. But there's so much, if you look, they hold in his face, and that's something I've noticed more and more. Partly from the video we saw about Nicolas Cage, or you told me about Nicolas Cage. And then in my other podcast that I do with my sister, we've talked a lot about like holding on faces in dialogue, not just when they're speaking, but holding on the person who is listening to the dialogue.
Yeah, reacting.
The reacting, yeah. We talked about it during, we did a Patreon episode about There Will Be Blood, and there's so much in that movie which is just faces reacting to dialogue. And his scene, or the scene where he is watching that tape, they hold for long moments of time on just his face, and we hear the video in the background. And he doesn't really do any big, like, emotional things with his face, but there's so much going on in his eyes in that scene. Like, you really get what he is thinking in that scene. And that's partly then, you know, good on the director for holding on his face, and also a testament to his acting. That scene in particular is one of my favorites in the movies. So I remembered that while we talked, so I wanted to go back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can really, if you really want to, analyze this movie a lot deeply, which is callbacks to small details, and just the circular storytelling, things coming back, as you said, with the friend using the same argument to him, and I think there's a lot of interesting details in this movie. I didn't catch like even half of them. But I again, that's just a testament to the great script that they were working with. Yeah,
shows that it's. I'm wondering if people like why got kind of lukewarm reviews was because people kind of like, well, it's a Christmas movie, yeah, it's fine, you know, they didn't take the time to look at it. But since that's what we're doing here, we're not just watching the movies, we're supposed to like find something out about the movies.
No.
I looked a little more, and you know, we found there is more to it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's very interesting, and even now, us talking about it, which usually happens when you talk about it, you find out even more about it. Oh,
yeah.
That's why it's fun to talk about movies.
Wow, amazing. So, what score would you give this movie?
Oh, yeah, I've already decided. This is an 8 out of 10.
It's an 8 out of 10.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because, I mean, 9 and 10, those are reserved for, like, the real classics. And this is not that. But it's a really good movie. So it's...
Yeah, I would agree. I would give this an 8 out of 10, too, actually. It is a very good movie.
It's a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if people gave it a chance, this might become like a minor like Christmas classic in the future. Because it's still relatively new. It's from 2000, and then anything made after the 90s, it's always going to feel a little too modern. Maybe it's hard to call that a classic, even though it's 22 years old at this point.
Yeah, maybe. It's definitely has what it needs to become a classic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would say this is a lot more Christmassy and a lot more feeling and also a better movie than sort of Bad Santa, which is at this point sort of a classic, modern classic movie. Christmas movie.
It has definitely more. Yeah, that one is. It's a different kind of movie. I still like that as a Christmas movie, but it's a very, very different movie.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying this fits in better with the modern classic.
Yeah,
Christmas movie genre.
with the classic Christmas movie. Yeah. And just we briefly discussed that I like Trouble in Paradise, and that was a Christmas movie, so I might like this. This is a much better Christmas movie than Christmas in Paradise.
We'll see. What did you give? Trapped in Paradise, I mean.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Trapped in Paradise.
Yeah, you gave that one a 6. So
and that's
the score.
Just in general a worse movie as well.
Yeah. It's been a few 8s this season though. No 9s or 10s, but
no,
a few 8s.
Not yet. The only one that might become a 9 if I try to go back and really look at it properly would be Bringing Out the Dead. But other than that, no 9s. And I'm wondering maybe there won't be any 9s. There's a few movies I haven't seen yet.
Come on, Wicker Man. That's a 10.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But I'm looking forward to adaptation. I haven't seen Matchstick Man or Lord of War either, so one of them maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's The Family Man.
Yeah.
By Nicolas Cage. A forgotten Christmas classic.
Yeah. Well, just thinking about it now when you said it, the name though, it sucks. It doesn't say anything about the movie.
I would say the Swedish title is better title.
What is that?
It's a Second Chance.
Yeah.
That's a much better title.
It's better, yeah. I mean, it's not
a good title, but it's better.
Yeah, I don't know what the perfect title would be, but The Family Man sounds. Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't
say anything really.
Yeah. Also been a little tainted with Family Guy, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next week it's Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
Yes.
Yeah. Not seen it. Don't know anything about it.
I know very little of it. I know that my parents' neighbors, my neighbor when I still lived there, he was not a movie guy or anything. He didn't watch movies. But his favorite movie of all time was Captain Corelli's Mandolin, so there might be something to it. I don't know. That's the only thing I know about it. That's why I know of it.
We'll see if he has good taste in movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's the episode.
Yeah. Also, just want to add it was kind of nice to get a little bit of Christmas in March. I gotta say there was a lot of I'm not gonna cry during this movie. But mostly for the Christmas feeling, but also because it was a very good movie. Yeah. But next week, Captain Corelli's Mandolin. It's not it takes place during a war, but it's more of a drama, I think. I know nothing of it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Yeah. So if you wanna follow along in the discussion, check out Captain Corelli's Mandolin. And also, if you want to support this show and our independent podcast endeavors, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, where you can listen to all these episodes some time in advance. You also get exclusive episodes of my other podcast that I mentioned, called The Spoilercast. There's commentary tracks and exclusive videos, a bunch of stuff for just $3 a month. Other than that, though, thank you for listening to this. Thank you for following us on all the podcast platforms or on YouTube, and we hope you enjoy the show. And until next time, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Madness in the Method is part of the Please Don't Make a Scene podcast network. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén after a concept by Christopher Billén. It is hosted by Tobias Vedén and Christopher Billén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. If you want to be a supporter of the show, please check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, where you can get early access to episodes, exclusive episodes of other podcasts, commentary tracks, and much, much more. And we want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters: Laura Kinney, Rasmus Jonsson, Mom, and Dad.